Well, I just want to say thank you very much, Trish, for letting me come into your beautiful house and to talk with you about your experience around voice banking. So,
It's a pleasure.
well, thank you again. Thank you again. Before all that, I thought maybe we could just learn a bit more about you.
Career-wise, I have been a legal secretary for most of my adult life. I have two wonderful children and three grandchildren, and they always are able to inject a degree of levity into the situation, which is great as it raises my spirit.
Now, I'm hoping that the audience will have heard some music, and I just wondered if you could just give us a little flavour, a little bit of background on that.
Right, when I was first diagnosed, I wanted to leave my children a legacy, and so I thought, well, I can sing, and I wrote in Richard, who is the most amazing guitarist to help me.
Great.
And so the CD was born. And then we decided, why not try and raise funds for the Motor Neurone Association, and it snowballed from there.
Great. So the idea was born that that you'd work with Richard, who we haven't met with, a very talented guy, clearly not me, another Richard,
Yes.
who helped you produce and arrange, and Richard can play the guitar and all sorts of other instruments. And at the same time, you thought, well, why not raise money for the Motor Neurone Disease Association,
Absolutely.
MNDA, and so the project was launched.
Yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful, thank you. Where did you hear about voice banking?
Well,
I heard about voice banking from my neuro-speech therapist, Nikki Friedman.
Great, and Nikki is your local treating speech therapist who is working with you.
yes.
Lovely. And did the timing of the kind of initial discussion around voice banking and then the actual project to do voice banking, did it feel it was the right timing, too early, too late?
Right.
The timing to commence voice banking was just right as my voice was showing early signs of deterioration. The problem was finding time to do it as all my husband's time is taken up with my care.
What was your experience of banking your voice? What was easy, what was difficult, and how much help did you need to do it?
The experience was very positive and uncomplicated for me. A voice banking body was essential as I cannot use my hands.
How do you feel about your voice? Does your voice sound like you?
my voice is recognizable as me. It sounds slightly nasal because of the delay in finding help, during which time the quality of my voice deteriorated further.
What will you do with your voice, with this voice bank?
It is early days yet, but my granddaughters, aged 8 and 6, think that I am cool. I have not yet tried my new communication tool on anyone other than my family, but watch this space.
We certainly will. I absolutely love that comment about your grandchildren thinking you're cool. I love that. In your experience, you know, what's the real deal about voice banking? Is it worth the effort?
I can say with absolute confidence that banking my voice has been well worth it. It would not have been possible without the help of my voice banking buddy Richard Gleave and those lovely people in Scotland, especially Graham Leary.
That's wonderful news, and actually we should mention that you've recorded your voice using CereVoiceMe, which is from CereProc, and Graham Leary is kind of the go-to guy if there's any questions or anything that needs to be done.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and it's you know, I think it should be said that that from your experience, from what I've seen, every time you've called, you know, Graham's picked up the phone and sorted out stuff for you.
Yes,
So it's been quite nice having a voice at the other end.
yes.
Good.
Most definitely.
What's your advice for somebody that's considering voice banking?
My advice, given the unpredictability of MND, would be to go for it. More importantly, to start the process as soon as possible. That said, it remains for the speech therapist to assess when the optimum time to broach the subject of possible voice loss with their client, given the devastating impact of the diagnosis of MND.
I think that's a really, really powerful answer. And you mentioned there about the role of the speech and language therapist, about when to discuss. If we swap roles, imagine you're the speech therapist
Yes.
and I'm the client. Given your experience, when do you think the speech therapist should start talking about this to a client with MND?
With regard to intervention by the speech therapist, it is very difficult to find the appropriate timing because the client may be having a bad day. I think that I would gently push the subject if I detected any change in the client's voice. In fact, when I was recording the CD, aware that certain sounds were a little woolly sometimes, and I suspected that I was developing bother symptoms, and I flagged this up with Nikki.
Gosh, Trish, thank you so much. Thank you for all those wonderful answers. And is there anything else that you want to add?
I would like to thank Richard King for inviting me to participate at this seminar and share my experiences of voice banking. It has been an interesting project with the added benefit of keeping me out of mischief.
I love that. That's so funny. I love it. Great, well, thank you, John, for agreeing to be on camera. Thank you for that. And
Not a problem.
so, you're Trish's husband, and Trish mentioned you in a reply kind of earlier on in the questioning. I'm just interested, from your perspective, how were you involved with voice banking? You know, the process, and you know, how much time did it take? Did it impact anything else, or just what is your view?
I think one of the major things from my side, as a principle of voice banking, is that it's part of inclusion, as I see it. That with Trisha, and the issue with MND is that basically most things are, the capability to do things is reducing. So that's physical things, it's processes. We're lucky with technology today that technology gives the chance to widen these horizons rather than close them in. And I think that's particularly with voice banking as well. There's the social aspect of it, Tricia, as one thing, but there's also this fact about being able to communicate, speak, whatever, as a self in the wider community, rather than just basically attempting to make conversation with people with limited skills, which is basically what a voice is, progressively moving down towards. So in those terms, I think the one key thing with voice banking is the level of support within the family or friends, contacts that can be given to support the whole process of voice banking and the time to do it. That's also about the actual fact of the level of support that the particular person is given by the care services, etc., and things like that. You have a limited amount of time to do these things because of all the other issues. It would obviously be very, very difficult for a single person alone to be able to have, without they have adequate support from friends, etc., to do the whole process. But I say the one thing I see it, for Tricia especially, is this level of inclusion, that she's now still part of a wider community of friends and family, etc., that she isn't confined by the loss of her voice. And I think, you know, for most people that is a very big issue.
Thank you very much, John. I appreciate that. Thanks again. Thank you both.
Have you had your tea?